So welcome back, guys. Starting off with a Z sphere here. Then I just initialized it to simplify the geometry, and then I just stretch it out, dynamesh it, and then I have a nice high-res shape that I want. And then I'm just going in here with my dam standard with X symmetry on, and just kind of blocking out those wooden planks. So right here we just have to make the metal hinges. So same thing as before, I just get a Z sphere, initialize it to simplify the geometry, and then I just use my trim dynamic to clean up that shape. Three, two, one. So now we just have to work on the lock for the metal hinge. So what I do is I just mask it out, split it, and then I use my move tool to pull it out with clay polish to smooth it out, and then I just kind of refine it, clean it up as I go. So Call of Duty Zombies is probably my most played and favorite game of all time so far. 2018 was a good year for video games, but yeah, I'd still say Zombies topped it. The highest round I got to was probably 76. I was with a friend of mine. We stayed up all day, all night playing, and then by the end of it, we just gave up, let the zombies kill us. But it was a lot of fun. So this was definitely a labor of love for me, and I think it's the favorite sculpture that I've done so far. There's a 3D print and paint of this next week, so I have it all finished, and then I did solder some LEDs in there, but definitely a labor of love. So right here I just got my trim dynamic, and I'm just going in between each plank and just trimming off some wear and tear, and then I do go in with my dam standard, and I just go ahead and make some wood splints just to give it more dramatic. I am going to project some detail on here, but this is just a nice platform for all that detail to rest on. So I have it the way I like it. Now I just have to load in some alphas of some wood textures that I made. Unfortunately, I didn't record the process, but I just found some pictures of wood online, brought them into Photoshop, and then I just played with the levels so it's black and white. It just reads better on the 3D surface, and then I'm just masking it off here and then dragging that detail right out. One thing to keep in mind if you are doing something like this, make sure you mask out each plank, because if you just project the detail on, it's going to look like wood texture, but they're not going to look like individual planks. So we got the texture all finished. Now I'm just going in with my /3 to just make some more details, such as like wood splints, scratches, tally marks, and bullet holes. I was just, at this point, I was just thinking what kind of details I can add. I didn't want to stop, so I just kept on pushing more and more details, which is good for 3D print because the detail will come out a lot better. And then I just loaded in some metal textures, some metal alphas, and then I just drag that stuff onto the surface to get a nice metal feel. So all we have left is to hollow it out, because you don't want to print something this dense in a Formlabs printer, just because printer resin is very expensive. And then I'm just using live boolean. It's the new feature on the Zbrush, the new version of Zbrush. Probably my favorite, since I am into like 3D printing and stuff like that. It's definitely a tool for a 3D print artist. So the last and final step is we just have to make these cinder blocks. So just like before, I get a Z-sphere, initialize it to simplify the geometry, and then I just use my Z modeler tool to get the shape that I want, and then I'm just using my move tool to thin things out, stretch them out. And I actually had a lot of fun sculpting the cinder block for some reason. I was a little hesitant going into it because it's just a cinder block, but at the end of it I was just thinking like what more details I can add, and they turned out pretty well. So I'm just going online to find some cement textures, and then I'm just going into Photoshop here in a second, and I'm just playing with the levels so it's black and white and just reads better on the surface, and then I'm just loading those into ZBrush and projecting them right on the 3D surface. So just like before, I'm taking the /3 just to make some cracks and some like crumbling parts on the cinder blocks. And I did do each one individually so that when I do 3D print them, they don't look like the same exact cinder block. Each one's got a little bit unique wear and tear. So there you have it, guys. The 3D sculpt is all finished. All we have left is to send it to the 3D printer and paint it, and then I'm going to solder those LEDs in there. So that'll be next week's video if you guys are interested. So that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you might want to consider that as well. Also, this will be next week's video. It's the 3D print and paint. So if you guys are interested, you might want to tune in next week. Also, if you guys have any ideas on any characters, just leave that in the comments below. With that, guys, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.